it's a 3-day holiday. It's Abraham was asked by God to sacrifice his son Ishmael and to test his loyalty. And he was ready to do it. And at the very last minute, it's like, no, you don't have to. So the holiday, and that's obviously the most layman's terms. I know the basics of something. Some things I know a lot about. Some things I know the basics of. And, where she's saying it's the feast of the sacrifice, I think people are more thinking about the animal that's being sacrificed for food rather than the sacrifice that the holiday is actually about. But that's kind of like a Christmas thing. We're like, oh yeah, we put up a Christmas tree, we exchange gifts, but what's the reason for the holiday? I feel like it's the same thing. It's like you can look at it at a very surface level, or you can think, what are we actually celebrating? What are we actually commemorating here? Yeah. I attended a webinar for new Muslims about Eid al Adha. And it was about the holiday. And there was a sheikh, and he was explaining it and like how things are done. And people were in the chat. I was in the chat, and we were asking questions. Like it was new Muslims. It was all reverts. Like, oh, can we do this? Should we do that? It was great. It was great. And I recorded it thinking like, oh, I wonder, like, people might want to see this because he's really like breaking it down, But I didn't get the audio, sadly. So let me show you this. This is from New Muslim Academy. So tips for your first Eid. New Muslim Academy. And their contacts are at the bottom. These are on Facebook, After Shahada, on Instagram. They have a Twitter and a Pinterest, Accepting Islam. So the first thing you do, first day of Eid, wake up early and take a bath. And this guy, the sheikh, was in the UK. And he was saying, like, in some cultures, they don't bathe every day. So you're going to tell people, wake up early and take a bath. Put on your best clean and modest clothing. Some people, if they can, will just buy an entirely new outfit. On your way to the Eid prayer, recite the following out loud. This is called dhikr. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. So this is God is great, God is great. There is no God but Allah. And so this is, so you would recite this out loud as you're driving or walking. It's preferable to walk to the mosque. But, depends where you live. Like, I don't have one within walking distance, even close, You arrive to the prayer place, number 4, and arrive early to secure a spot. Pray the Eid prayers in congregation. They have to be prayed in congregation. You can't pray by yourself. Listen to the Imam's sermon. Happily greet your Muslim friends, even people you don't know. Those who can afford to may take part in sacrificing an animal or donating money to have one sacrificed elsewhere and distributing the meat to the needy. This is one of the pillars of Islam is charity. So if you're someone like me living in the Western world, I don't have a halal butcher down the street, so I will donate money, cash. And there's like some websites will tell you how to calculate how much to give. I asked the sheikh that was doing this webinar, like, is there like a formula? How do you determine, how like in some Christianity, like in some denominations, they'll say tithing is like 10%. But I know in Islam, it's much more than that. But I'm like, is there like a formula? And he just told me, donate what you're comfortable with. Whatever you're comfortable with doing is fine. Now, that's kind of what I've done in the past. And I usually do what I'm comfortable with plus a little more. Because, it is a sacrifice after all, right? Like I can cut back on some things so that other people can eat, like, okay, yeah, no problem. If you can take a different route home than the one you took to the Eid prayer, I don't know the reason for that. I don't know. I'm sure we could Google it, or, ask one of these creators out there that are sudden experts on Muslim holidays. They could probably tell us. Eat after you have returned home from Eid prayer, as the Messenger Muhammad, peace be upon him, used to do. So I also asked, is it sunnah? Is this something that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, did? To fast before the prayer? Or is it just preferred? This guy was so laid back. He was like, if you wake up and you're starving and it's going to distract you, then yes, have a bite to eat. If you can wait until after the prayer, yes, that's, that's good too. Which I appreciated his approach, because with brand new reverts, new to the religion, learning about a big holiday, oh my God, what do I have to do? It's overwhelming. And this guy is just we're asking these very specific questions, and he's not putting any pressure on anybody. You will go to some websites or some mosques or talk to some people who have very strict, narrow ideas of how things should be done. And that can get very overwhelming. What if I can't do that? What if, I'm looking at one of these, what if I don't, okay, I have a good outfit that's clean and modest, but some people are telling me I need to buy a new outfit. That's not correct. But some people feel that for them, that's something that they have to do. So you can have people just telling you the strictest way to do things, which may not be mandatory. And it just makes you feel very overwhelmed. Oh my God, this is a lot. I could see 2 reasons for not walking the same route: to only go forward, not back, right? Or for it being a new beginning. Yeah. But and I wonder, it's got to be some, maybe it's sunnah. We could look it up. Celebrate this joyous day in a way that's true to your traditions. I love that. That's true to your traditions. What do you, if you're a revert, how do you typically celebrate holidays that you used to? How do you celebrate them with your family? To include others. You don't have to be Muslim to celebrate a holiday. You don't have to be Christian to celebrate a holiday. Look how many atheists exchange Christmas gifts, for example, right? You don't have to believe. But if you're getting together, it's a special time for some people, and you want to get together and have a nice meal together. That, yeah, absolutely. That's true to your traditions. Yeah. But I thought that was nice that they did a whole webinar. It was a couple days ago, preparing people,